I didn't understand a fucking word anybody said throughout the entirety of this film. Sounds like a fucking computer AI wrote the dialogue.
There was no plot.
It's not really about the plot, though.
But it's such silly nonsense. And maybe there's something in that I like. What's a Jellicle cat?
They're black, they're white, they're skinny, they're fat, they're tall, they're short. It means nothing.
They're supposed to tell you what Jellicle cats are, and then they just describe any cat.
Can you imagine how long this would be if every cat got a song?
Stupid, weird nonsense, and I love it. A buttload of cats. A buttload of cats. Welcome to the Yestalgia podcast. I'm Basil.
I'm Drew.
And I'm Amanda. And today we're talking about Cats. In the 1998 theater release of classic stage play Cats, the Jellicle cats come together for one special night of the year in which a single cat is chosen to ascend to the Heaviside layer and be reborn into a whole new Jellicle life. Nailed it.
Now let's talk about our experience with cats. I guess I'll go first. I first saw this film in 1998, I think. The public educational channel used to air it whenever they're doing their fund drives. And my mother and I would usually watch it pretty much every time it came on. So yeah, I've seen this a few times.
Oh, Basil, you want to go next?
Sure. Yeah, I did not see this until I was an adult, but it was sort of pre-film Cats. And yeah, I was a little bit obsessed with it for a period of time because I find it fascinating, but we can get into that later. So I've seen it like, I don't know, maybe 4 times or so, something like that.
So I actually did see this. I was 6 years old. Let me take you back to Fort Worth, Texas in 1988.
This is the stage play, not this.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You got me on a technicality.
It still
So
counts, but,
technically,
yeah.
I have seen Cats and I have seen it in the theater, but I was like 5 or 6 years old, have absolutely zero recollection of it except for the costumes. Because, I mean, who could forget that? But yeah, no, I don't remember liking it as a little kid at all. I don't remember hating it, but I never ever had the urge to watch it again. So this is truly my first time absorbing it for what it is.
Mm. Well, that's like when people ask me if I've ever been to like Disney, and I'm like, yeah, but I was too young to remember, so no.
Ow.
Yeah, I don't remember a single thing about it.
I've been to Reunion Tower when I was like 18 months old or something. You know that big tower in Dallas with the ball on it?
Kind of, yeah.
The ball is a restaurant and it rotates.
Yes, I do.
It's called Reunion Tower. And my parents were always like, you've been to Reunion Tower? And I'm like, please, I was in a car seat carrier. Give me a break.
A bassinet.
Take me again.
I've lived in Florida, but I was 1 year old, so couldn't say anything about it.
You were spared the horrors and the trauma.
Yeah, for me, it was Florida, but I was, under 1, I believe. So it doesn't count, you know. Anyhow, Cats.
Oh, I'm so glad you guys are here, and this is why. I didn't understand a fucking word anybody said throughout the entirety of this film.
Mostly nonsense anyway. So,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyway, most of it.
a lot of it.
I
Yeah,
turned
a lot of
on
it.
the subtitles. It didn't help.
I know. Some of them didn't populate. So yeah, it's like a computer AI hearing things that are not necessarily what they're saying.
Sounds like a fucking computer AI wrote the dialogue.
Okay, so I'm bringing this up early, but this play is based on a collection of poems by T.S. Eliot called Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats.
Again, a string of words that sounds like an AI made it up.
Yeah, so I'm not super familiar with T.S. Eliot other than knowing he was a respected poet. Like, that's what I know about him. And a lot of the characters' names are based on these poems because they're named the same things. Like, a lot of the songs are named the same things as the poems. So, yeah, I guess Andrew Lloyd Webber was like, I'm going to make a play about these weird-ass poems.
Yeah, he was the only person that understood this cryptic language. Y'all, this fool was born in 1888.
Oh, T.S. Eliot?
Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's anything that I recognize. Hollow Men, Journey of the Magi, that sounds familiar to me.
The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock.
That doesn't sound familiar to me at all. Okay, I'm putting the phone down.
That one I vaguely remember hearing about. But again, I'm not super into poetry in general, so...
Our good friend Andy was basically moved to create this. And it is, in some ways, I'm sure for most people, it is, wow, amazing, super visually pleasing.
Yeah, some people.
Yeah, for me, I was like, I can look away and do other things while this shit's going on.
I think particularly like what I think makes it kind of special in a way to a lot of people is that it has a lot of dance in it as well. So looking away means you don't see those things.
Why I looked away. I was like, oh, he's going to do his thing for 20 minutes. I can go ahead and process all of these invoices while he's doing his jig.
So you do not like dance, turns out. Because some of the songs are not even sung. It's just like a musical sort of interlude while someone dances.
Mm-hmm.
There are very, very long stints of time in which these very talented folks, they just dance. And I'm like, I got it.
Yeah. Multiple songs. No words, just dancing.
Yeah.
This is a true musical.
I think a big part of the production of Cats is sort of this learning to move in a certain way too. So it was very practiced in a way that, yeah, it is like meant to evoke.
To learn to move like a cat.
Yeah, like a cat moves and kind of, but also using dance in that kind of way that dance can tell a story, you know?
It definitely achieves that. I will say the first, I want to say 20 minutes of this film, I was like, oh, that's just how a cat would slink down that piece of trash. After that, I was like, got it. I don't need any more. I'm coming in hot, and it sounds like I dislike this movie. I didn't. But it was so hard for me to understand. And there was so much of it. It's a 2-hour long movie. And there was a lot of it where I had either zero comprehension of what they were saying with or without subtitles. Or there were periods of time where I was just like, I'm a little bored. Like, is there a plot? What's the next step?
There's no plot.
There's a loose plot.
There's a tiny plot.
Sort of.
I had to go on Wikipedia to find out what it was. And I did so.
It's not really about the plot, though, I feel. This plot is just to facilitate the music.
And dance, yeah.
Interesting.
And yeah, I could partially agree to that. The thing is, I think we were talking about this before we got on recording, but there seems to be a certain amount of the story that is filled in by the watcher. Do you know what I'm saying? Not...
No.
Yeah, I get that.
Like, you have to make sense of the plot. And I think it's partially intentional, but the plot is so loose that a lot of what you're watching is nonsense. I do still really like Cats, but it's such silly nonsense. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. It was complete and total utter nonsense.
And maybe there's something in that I like. I don't even know. But I do think there's a portion that you have to make the plot, or it's your interpretations of plot, or like general interpretations of the plot that make people say that it has a plot. Versus, I don't think there's much going on there, you know?
Well, the plot, at least the way I interpret it, is this ball is for each of the cats to present themselves to help decide who should be the one to go to the Heaviside lair.
What the fuck is the Heaviside lair?
What is that? Why are they doing that? How often do they do that?
That part is a little...
Yeah. What's a Jellicle cat?
What the fuck is a Jellicle cat?
They are a Jellicle cat.
There's a whole song about what a Jellicle cat is, and then they don't really say anything.
They're black and white.
Yeah, they're black, they're white, they're skinny, they're fat, they're tall, they're short.
Yeah.
They're moderate size.
Mm-hmm.
They're cute, they're ugly, they don't know how to read, they're very good at writing, they like cashews, they're allergic to shrimp. It means nothing.
Yeah. And I will say, it's like a running joke in one of my favorite shows, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, about how Cats is nonsense. And there's a line where she goes, there's a song where they're supposed to tell you what Jellicle cats are, and then they just describe any cat. That's what's happening.
Maybe that's the thing. Saying any cat can be a Jellicle cat.
But then what makes a Jellicle cat?
So here's my thing. If everybody is special, nobody is special. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, is that supposed to be kind of funny and sort of quirky? I'm going to say the movie just for ease of my speech. I know it's a stage play. Is that what the movie is trying to get at? Like, haha, every cat is a Jellicle cat. Joke's on you, bitch.
Don't think so is the problem.
Kind of think so. I have to think so.
Yeah, me too.
I have to. Otherwise, I'm not going to go to
Well,
sleep
if any
tonight.
cat can be a Jellicle cat, then why is Grisabella not a Jellicle cat?
That's another question. Why is she? Is it just because she's sad?
You see the corner of her coat is torn and stained.
Oh,
She's fallen
it's
from grace.
Gus. Like, Gus is a mess. So what is it really?
It's a mess. He was so cute, though. He was so cute.
He is adorable.
The actor that played Gus was so damn cute. His facial expression, I'm sorry, Basil, to derail, but his facial expressions for a character that had very, very, very few speaking and singing lines. Well, let me draw that back. Very few singing lines, because there was no speaking in this movie. He was super cute. He did a great job. Yeah. Sorry.
This was great.
Okay. But what really is the difference? Because they never really say, what did Grisabella even do?
Grisabella is also injured.
Is she?
Yeah, she's limping.
In a way, isn't Gus? But Gus has palsy. They straight up said it.
Yeah, right? But he's not actually injured.
There's very little difference between the two of them is what I'm trying to say. And like, in a way, it echoes the kind of way that we treat women in society in a way. Do you know what I mean? Like the way they talk about her, but they don't outright say what it is that happened. You know what I mean? Or what it is she did to make herself exiled.
That part is definitely to imagination.
Yeah.
Here's what I know about, what is her name? Grisabella?
Fuck,
I fucked that one up. So here's what I know about her. She used to be beautiful.
She's the glamour cat.
Right. And now she is busted and disgusted. And she's sad.
In a manner of speaking. That's one way to put it.
But like, that's the thing though. And I think part of it has to do with the way her costuming is as well. That it feels reminiscent of the way human society looks down on women who are confident or, you know what I mean? Like, go against convention in some way.
Not humble.
Yeah. And I just find that very interesting because it's like the whole thing is about how they're cats and they're not like people, guys.
So you're saying she was chosen because of her fall from grace?
No, I'm saying whatever this fall from grace happened, they never say it, is essentially what I'm complaining about. But that the kind of imagery they use and the way the songs are sung, not even exactly anything they specifically say, but like it hints at like a kind of common story, right? Like in a more human Western culture particularly. Does that make sense?
No, not to me.
A bit. And you know what? The one difference could be the theory about Gus and the female cat, I forgot her name, who sings his song, is that he's her father. And she's basically singing the praises of her father, saying how he was back in the day. And maybe that's the difference, that he has a child and she has none.
Yeah, or she just doesn't have family at this point, too.
Right. Yeah.
Her name's like Jelly-Laurel or something like that.
Yeah. Laura, it's the only name that I know in the entire fucking movie. I don't know why. It's Jelly.
Not Mr. Mistopheles?
Yeah, it can't be the only one.
Oh, well, okay. You got me there.
It's the Mistopheles, Rum Tum Tugger.
Yeah, okay. I only got Rum Tum Tugger from, like, Wikipedia. I literally could not understand what they were saying.
Sometimes they're saying nonsense words because that's what their names are, nonsense, you know?
So, okay, I started watching it without subtitles because I was just too lazy to tap the screen. And when they were saying Jellicle, I kept hearing angelical.
Very possible. So that word does come from the poems. There's a couple made up words in the poems. So it is possible the intention is for it to sound like angelical, or it's like some sort of portmanteau of something.
A few songs do have notes of gospel to them. So, yeah.
Well, and they're in a colony that isn't unlike a grouping of people together because they all believe in the same thing, right?
Very culty. A few of the songs as well.
They're a cult. They're a cult.
Yeah. But apparently a cult that can have people be reborn. What's that called in
Ritual
Buddhism?
suicide.
No, Buddhism. Where you come back.
Reincarnation?
Thank you. Reincarnation. They are a group that believes in reincarnation, or they literally are reincarnated. There's never any clear line about what's real and what isn't, I suppose.
Or, like, one theory says they're actually choosing one member to be sacrificed. They all think it's this great prize, which actually Just plain death.
That's what I thought.
The reason I always assumed they were being reincarnated is because earlier when they're introducing old Deuteronomy, they talk about how many lives he's literally lived and that he had a life before even Queen Victoria. So I think in terms of their belief system, at the very least, they believe that you go to the Heaviside lair and you are reborn as another cat that joins the Jellicle cats again.
Right. They believe that, but maybe they're just dying and the new cats come along and say, hey, yes, I'm the reincarnation of that previous cat.
Yeah. Or it's really happening. You know, this is sort of a fantastical thing, so it's impossible to actually tell.
Here was my interpretation of this. And sorry, listeners, we are once again jumping to the fucking end of the movie. When old Dichotomy decided...
Deuteronomy?
Yeah. When he decided that
Grisabella
should be the Jellicle cat, this weird, glowing, creepy as hell arm came down from the heavens, and she was all happy and she got on it. And so I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, we have a character who is complaining about sadness and memories, and I remember when I was loved, and we basically have a depressed character who is also having physical challenges. She's aging from the actress's actions. She's clearly having physical pain. I swear to God, you guys, I was like, is this a metaphor for assisted suicide?
I mean, there are, as someone who has recently experienced this, we do make those kinds of choices for our pets, right? Like for cats particularly. So it's not that unusual of a thing, right? That for animals who are in a kind of position of being so sick that they are not going to live anyways, that we put them out of their pain, or we let them finish their life outside of pain, outside of the extremity that it can get to, right? So I don't know if that's some of what's going on there or not.
Seems to be human facilitated, though.
Well, I don't know if it 100% is, because I always thought only some of them imply that they live in a house.
Correct.
I think Jenny Any Dots and Bustopher Jones for sure imply they have a house. The railway cat lived at the railway, right? So it wasn't like in a house with people. Skimbleshanks. Yeah. Oh, I remember their names because I'm crazy.
Yeah.
And then Gus, aka Asparagus.
Yes, the actor cat.
Yeah, he lived in a theater, right? So they do sort of specify sometimes that they live together, but some of them live in houses or live in domiciles of some kind.
Rum Tum Tugger.
Yeah. Does he say?
Yeah, because if you're a mouse, you'd rather have a rat. You give him fish, you'd rather have... These are people giving him these things, right?
Yeah.
He is the most princessed out of all of the cats.
And I'm guessing Victoria as well.
Can I read you guys my list?
Of what?
So when the movie kind of got momentum, like the first 10 minutes, I was like, oh, we are being introduced to a different cat trope with every character. Like, we're getting introduced to a different category of cat with every character that's introduced.
Cat-agory?
Exactly. Thank you. So I didn't realize that this movie was going to continuously introduce cats all the way until the end. I didn't realize that. I was like, okay, pretty soon it's going to end. So I wrote the cats and what they are supposed to represent. Do you guys want to hear it?
Okay.
Go for it.
So the first cat, and I wrote her name as Jellycat ? And this was the cat that sort of had the costume that had like a big thorax, like a bee.
Bouncy coat?
The old Gumby cat, Jenny Any Dots.
She has like a bouncy coat?
Yeah, okay. It sounds like you're speaking a different language.
Like literal coat, not like fur coat, like a literal coat that bounces up and down and then she takes it off.
Yes.
Yeah, that is Jenny Any Dots, yeah.
So that was cat number 1, and I wrote Jellycat ? 3 a.m. Zoomies cat. Number 2, I want to see if you guys can guess. Well, they're in order, so it's not going to be that hard, but I didn't write any of their names because they aren't spoken in a language that me and my brain can interpret. Number 2 is Oppositional Defiant Asshole Cat.
Rum Tum Tugger.
Hates closed doors.
The horny cat is from
Yeah.
Tom Tugger.
I wrote that too.
Is he the horny cat?
That seemed like a lot of cats during his song were in heat.
If you actually watch it, I think that is such a fascinating scene because all the masculine like cats do not take part in that number, and neither do the older female cats, right? So It's only the young girls that are all about him, particularly etc. Because throughout the entire show, she's going crazy for Rum Tum Tugger. Actually, if you watch it, like watch her throughout the show, she's like, oh my God.
He's a rock star cat.
Yeah.
Her name is etc.
Yeah. The like fluffy young one.
I'm fucking naming my cat that.
Yeah.
She doesn't get a song.
No, she doesn't.
Can you imagine how long this would be if every cat got a song?
Oh my God, I know.
Oh, they damn near almost did.
No, there are several that don't.
There's a lot that don't, actually.
Yeah.
Number 3 cat was Fallen from Grace Trash Cat. That one's obvious.
Isabella.
Mm-hmm. Number 4 was Portly High Society Gentleman Tuxedo Cat. And in parentheses,
Jones,
I put, so far my favorite.
I put him as the fancy cat in white spats.
So, y'all, I'm going to pause on my list for a second. I have owned that cat, okay? He was not technically mine. He belonged to someone I lived with. And I know they say he weighs 25 pounds or something like that.
25-pounder.
25 pounds is ridiculous.
It is humongous. It is a large cat.
Yeah. I had a 19-pound tuxedo cat. And when he was with you in the home, he was sweet as cake. But when the cable guy came over, he became cat number 7, which I will get to.
Hold on real quick. Billy, technically it was Billy's cat, but you know, when we got together, I started also taking care of him like he was my own cat. Joey, I don't know if, I think he was passed by the time we all started playing, but he was like that too. He got up to 19 pounds because his family did not have a feeding schedule for him. And so people would just like feed him like in the morning when they thought he was hungry, but he would just go around to everybody, it turned out, looking like he was hungry. So he would get like 5 breakfasts. And he got up to 19 pounds and he was mostly fine and friendly with people in the house, but he would go out and cause fights with other cats, which is why he ended.
Was this a tuxedo cat?
No, he was all white. Yeah, with blue eyes. Beautiful. We used to call him Beauty Queen.
Okay. Oh, God, I love all white cats.
He was so beautiful. But yeah, once I figured out why he got so big, I was like, guys, we can't do this. Hold on. Everybody stop feeding him. We will feed him like specific amounts.
Well, this was both a large in dimension, like a tall and long cat that was also well fed. Okay, so I did Portly High Society Gentleman Cat. Okay, number 5 was Hyperactive Little Shit Twins.
These are some of my favorites.
Mungo, Jerry, and Rumple Teaser.
Yeah.
They're cute.
They were the cats that knock shit off your table. Like, they'll look you in the eye and knock your shit off. And you're like, hey, don't do it.
My note is twin mischief cats.
Yeah, they're so cute. They're so cute.
I hate having cats like that. I've had a cat like that. To have 2 of them, I would be like, yeah.
It was Mungo, Jerry, and Rumple Caesar.
Okay, so all these cats are technically sort of trying out or whatever. They're putting themselves up to go to the Heaviside layer.
Getting their case.
I got the feeling, though, that the 2 of them were really young.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
They came across as like kittens. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like, why would you want that little one?
So we are all in agreement that Heaviside layer is death of some sort.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
But again, they never actually say that. That's what I'm saying. A lot of stuff with cats, I feel like, is just interpretation.
Underneath Hyperactive Little Shit Twins, I wrote asterisk, so much crotch in this movie.
They have a whole part where they're presenting.
Well, yeah, they're all wearing leotards. Yeah.
Folks were busting it wide open all over, like from the beginning to the end of this movie. Men, women.
Quick Nim reference. How many people do you think got their furry awakening from this?
And every furry born in the 70s or 80s.
Probably many, yeah.
Number 6 was old Diuretic. Diuretic?
Deuteronomy. It's a section of the Bible.
And I believe it was old Deuteronomy.
I just wrote, no such cat as this, ? Like, I couldn't peg him. No. He didn't fit my classification standards.
He's the wise old,
guy.
Relaxed cat. Yeah.
Okay. I guess I haven't met that cat. I only have recently started living with cats, the animals. And then under him, I wrote, asterisk, their imitations of dog behavior is relatable.
Battle of the Peaks and Particles.
Yeah, they were putting on a play for him that was about this dog feud.
And the cat who stopped it.
Yeah, and that was number 7 cat, which I said, fueled by hatred cat would kill a dog.
Was that one? No, I was going to say McCavity, but that's not till later.
The Rumpus Cat.
Yeah, did he not?
Oh, the one that's in like the superhero costume thing.
Yes, and he has glowing red eyes.
He's the superhero cat.
He basically leapt out and did that whole thing. Do you guys remember in the news many, many years ago where there was like a little boy playing out in his driveway and a pit bull ran up on his ass and a totally normal fucking cat? It was like somebody's brown tabby. Nothing special about her, but she brought the fucking heat. And her like...
I remember this, yes.
Yeah, like her vibe, that dog was like, nope. And it ran out of that. And the follow-up interview was so cute because the little boy's all petting her and she's being a totally nondescript cat. There is nothing special about this cat. This is completely generic cat.
But really, there is.
Rumpus Cats.
And he's petting her and he's like, she's my angel. I'm like, oh. Anywho, that's the end of my list.
And that song also features Mungo Jerry and Rumpelteazer heavily. Not heavily, but double part.
Drew, you are the key. You are the Rosetta Stone to me understanding this movie.
Bark, 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 bark.
Yeah!
There's like racist shit in that song, though. Yeah.
Yeah, there is. I wrote that too.
Wait, what?
Chinese racism?
Yeah, there's some racism against Chinese people.
You're right. Yeah, I did hear that. You're right. I just didn't remember it.
And I'm like, oof.
They bring that up a couple of times, don't they?
Just in that particular, I think there's a couple songs that are...
It's Pekingese, despite what people think, are not British, they're Chinese.
Yeah, but then they say things that are like those heathen Chinese or something like that. That's like, okay, I don't think you can say that, sir. Even if you're a cat.
Oh, really? Glad I couldn't understand the shit.
It was made in the 80s, so not good, but...
But fuck you, Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Andy, come on, baby.
All right, next cat.
That was it. That was all of my cats. I stopped it.
Oh, you didn't put like Gus or Gimbleshanks or Mr. Mistopheles?
The cast in the second act.
Yeah.
I didn't number him, but I did write, I love this adorable geriatric cat. His facial acting is so cute. Under that, I wrote, this movie is about groups of cats taking turns scaring each other.
A little bit.
Because that's what it seemed like. Every single scene was interrupted by a kaboom and all the cats being like...
Part where she was singing and telling of his acting deeds and the shadow of Gus's old self, his portrayal of that character. When I was a kid, I used to think that was a precursor, like they're showing early McCavity.
Yeah, because it kind of looks like that.
Right. But now, looking closer, I see that he has the hair of Gus and everything.
I watched it with Billy and he did enjoy it as well. But he kept asking me because clearly they're doing something that you can do on film, but you can't do in the theater. Well, you can. There's actually this very old technique of doing it, but they don't do it. And he was like, whoa, but what do they do in the theater? And I'm like, the guy's just there, Billy. Like in the theater. It's just a person. It's just not superimposed on top. And he was like, oh, but yeah, it was very funny. And he was like, how do they do that? How did they do that back then? And I'm like, this thing, the overlay thing has been going on for a very long time. They've known how to do that since like the 30s.
Skipping ahead a bit, they also do that with Mr. Mistopheles' song.
Oh, yes, because they do the magic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Best
and the
lightning
in the whole movie. Yeah. It gets really fucking stuck in your head.
Then there is a practical effect when he brings, well, spoiler, I guess, brings back Old Deuteronomy. He's a practical effect with that, where she goes in front of the pipe, he puts the blink over her, and then Old Deuteronomy comes out.
Switch, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it was just really funny where I was like, Billy, how do you not know?
Has he never been to a stage play?
So I know that his family definitely tried to get him into that kind of stuff in general, but I don't think it was ever really his bag. And a lot of it would have been like Shakespeare and stuff. You know what I mean? So like, it's not like I've gone to a bunch of stage shows. And we were talking earlier about Nutcracker. He's gone to that. We went to that together. But yeah, I don't think he's experienced a lot of theater. Yeah.
So it's not for me. I don't like being a captive audience. I've been to a few, and it was when I was much younger. I've seen Peter Pan. I've been to Casa Manana a few times. And also, I clocked Peter Pan immediately. I was like, that's a chick.
Congratulations!
I was like,
It often is, yes. I think that for me, there's so much sensory stuff going on in general when you're at a theater that I'm able to I'd rather be focusing on that. And also, I fucking love costumes and clothing and the psychology of costumes and stuff. So, like, there's a portion there that's also being stimulated in my brain, I guess.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I hate the fact that you cannot just disengage at will. I feel like I'm like, I gotta go to the bathroom, or I gotta go to the concession stand. And then I feel like I'm gonna take an opportunity attack because I hate to disengage with real live people, even though they do not give a fuck about me. Is that insane?
They probably can't even see you most of the time.
I know they can't, but in my mind, they love me. They're on the stage just for me. And I'm hurting their feelings by going and taking a crap in the lobby.
There are times when they can see you depending on how the production is, but generally speaking, mostly those lights are kind of blinding and you cannot see people in the audience very well.
Did I ever tell you guys about the time I went to a Death Clock concert and I swear to God, people think that I'm insane, but I swear to God, Brendan Small looked directly into my eyeballs.
What?
I'm nuts. Let's keep on going.
I think I will say theater lights are much brighter than concert lights for sure. My only experience stuff is when I was much younger, but there's this story where I was maybe 13 or 14, somewhere around there. And they were doing a little teen theater thing where we ended up sort of making our own script. And essentially we took the time machine, George Orwell. And because of when it was written, there's lots of times in the future that things have happened since then. So we did a play like that. Anyways, so part of it had a scene with Lee Harvey Oswald, and I was playing Lee Harvey Oswald, and I was shooting into the audience. And I was dating a boy at the time, and my friends had come to see me, and I was pointing my gun out in the audience, but I couldn't see anything. I had no idea where it was actually pointing. It was just a general thing. And later, my boyfriend was like, "You were pointing that at me." And I was like, "I'm very sorry. That was unintentional. I could not see you at all."
Why has everything got to be about you? But no, Brendan Small really did look me into my eyeballs.
I mean, I think that's a little easier when you are at a concert, for sure. Because, again, the lights are not as...
Girl, he didn't.
No, hold on. They must, especially if you were close to the front, make eye contact with people sometimes, right?
He held up his middle finger and said, "Amanda, fuck you."
By the way, that's awesome. I love him from Home Movies.
Home Movies. I haven't heard that name in years.
Now that's a name I've not heard in a long time.
It is my favorite show. You can not watch it anywhere.
Did you know that's improv?
Yeah. I mean, not entirely, but most of it, yes.
I didn't know that. Yeah, it's loosely scripted.
Yeah. They're this has to happen, this has to happen, this has to happen. Anyhow, the whole second act, you ignored all the cats from there.
Yes, I did. I got sick of it. I was like, you're just not going to stop? I'm not doing this emotional labor for you.
That's a big part of what this show is.
Emotional labor?
Naming the cats. Them giving their reasons who they are.
Why they're cool.
Why they should be the chosen one.
Let's keep going. So after Fueled by Hatred cat would kill a dog, which is the superhero cat with glowing red eyes, we had Gus.
Asparagus.
And then after him, we had a funky, weird electric cat.
Are you talking about Skimbleshanks, the railway cat?
Girl, I don't fucking know.
Did he have a little vest with a little pocket watch chain?
Oh, the train cat.
Yes.
You forgot about that one.
Was he next?
Skimbleshanks is between Old Gus and McCavity.
Yeah.
Okay. And then McCavity was this butt wild motherfucker who, in a rare moment of plot development, kidnapped old Deuteronomy.
Deuteronomy.
Say it again.
Deuteronomy.
Deuteronomy.
Amanda, have you read your Bible?
He kidnapped old Doo-Doo. And in the next cat that we see, that was good. This was a little skinny tuxedo boy.
Magical. Mystical. Mr. Mistopheles.
Yeah. This was when I was like, okay, you've got me.
He's my favorite in the show.
Mine too.
And he's my favorite type of cat.
I asked
Tuxedo?
Billy, I said, if we get a tuxedo cat, can we name them Mr. Mistopheles? Or if it's a girl, Mrs. Mistopheles? And he was like, that's kind of generic. And I was like, fuck you.
There was a cat in my neighborhood who was a tuxedo cat and nicknamed him Mr. Mistopheles. Whenever I would see him, I would say, "Hey, Mr. Mistopheles."
It's like Mr. Mistopheles is so cute. He's like the best character.
And he had the best song.
Yeah.
Yeah. That shit is like such an earworm.
And he had the best costume.
I don't know if he had
Yes.
the best well, he does have a glittery light up jacket. I guess he does have the best costume.
I was so lost through that whole movie. And then I was like, the magical Mr. Mistopheles. All right, you got my ass back in. I'm back in. I'm back into the Matrix, baby.
I mean, for like 3 more songs or something after that. Maybe it's more than that, I think. But yeah. And then the rest is actually narrative, I believe.
Hey, everybody had their own hype man, which I also thought was kind of cool. It was like nobody comes out and says, hey, everybody, it's me and I'm the cat. They all have a hype man.
Except Skimbleshanks.
Shimbleshanks.
Oh, yeah. The railway cat. Yeah. But people
he came out.
join
they have
in.
background
Don't they?
singers,
Yeah.
But, yeah. But he was singing the
So,
name
like,
of it.
it is interesting because it's almost like people are nominating other people. Do you know what I mean? By singing songs about them and like singing their praises to Old Deuteronomy. And if you think about it like that, theoretically, even though Grisabella sings her own song, Victoria, by sort of accepting her, is nominating her.
Is Victoria the one that sang that song that was like, do 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 do?
She's the white one, the one that's all white. That's
okay,
the easiest way to
never
know which one she is. And some people say you could call her a main character because she's on screen at all times and she is the one that does that.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't really agree with that. But they did when they made the unfortunate 2019 movie make Victoria the main character. And Mr. Mistopheles had a bigger part as well, even though he didn't speak because Mr. Mistopheles doesn't speak.
That's what I remembered. But yeah, she does have a few lines here and there.
Yeah, that is fair. He does sing a couple times, right? But like mostly he doesn't do much. His is more dancing and being cute.
When he
Cat
was
is
hugging up
sharp.
on Deuteronomy when he came back.
Yeah, people were real excited. There are parts in this where I get uncomfortable because it's like really tipping into sexual.
Some.
And they're supposed to be animals.
Wow, 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 wow.
Yeah.
Some parts of this.
Okay. That's more like implied, but there are parts where they're like really like up on each other in a way where I'm like, oh, I don't like that.
Somebody ran their hand all up and down Victoria's body, like boobs to crotch. And it looked real consensual, you guys. Like it looked real.
But I don't know if it's like the way we interpret things that, you know, an animal would not consider. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if that's...
Cats loan themselves to sexy times, right?
I suppose.
So, I say right.
I mean, my cats haven't because they're always neutered, but yeah.
You know what? Now that I think about it, my cat barfs all over the place. Hold on. I am going to make a gritty reboot. I'm going to do the Gritty 2024. Help me make the Gritty 2024 reboot of Cats, you guys.
No.
We are not going to do an adaptation.
Or how about we don't and just say we did?
No.
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
Y'all, these fools are going to be puking all over the
No,
place.
I don't want to see kitties suffer.
They didn't suffer. They're just doing what they're going to do. If anything, they were betrayed by this movie. They were actually done dirty because these cats should be barfing all over everything.
Should they?
God damn it.
These cats should be having aggressive sex in the alley.
Nope, stop talking, go to jail.
On the topic of sexualizing the cats, a lot of people ship Rum Tum Tugger and Mr. Mistopheles.
Okay, I'll do it. You've twisted my arm at my back.
Yeah, I can see it for sure.
Now kiss.
And they say, like, when during Rum Tum Tugger's song, when Mr. Mistopheles says he's a terrible bore, people like that's him playing
Cheeky.
basically, cheeky and hard to get,
Yeah.
and making fun of the person he likes.
It's stupid, weird nonsense, and I love it. It's how I feel about cats. I just think all of Andrew Lloyd Webber's stuff is just like stupid, weird nonsense, and I love it. That's my review for Phantom of the Opera, too.
What else did he do?
Phantom of the Opera.
That's it?
Oh, I don't know. Those are the only two I'm really familiar with. I'm sure he's done others. Let's see, what else did he work on? Well, he's composed 21 musicals. Oh, Evita, Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, Jesus Christ Superstar, Starlight Express, School of Rock, Sunset Boulevard. Those are his big ones. So yeah, a lot of the like big musicals that you probably know of are him.
Did you say School of Rock?
Yes.
As in the Jack Black movie, or was that an adaptation of something?
It's the musical of the film. So like Heathers and Mean Girls, they were films and then they got turned into musicals.
The reverse of Cats.
Mm-hmm. God, can we talk about the movie being so bad? Not this, but the 2019 film.
I've heard.
Oh my God. And not only is it like they make weird choices, but it's just such uncanny valley. It's terrible.
That's what I've heard.
Ugh. That's why now, so already I thought it was brilliant, right? The way they do the costuming for the cats, right? And the makeup in a way, because it's like so heavily stylized that you don't run into that weird uncanny valley. And then they just like did away with it to do a weird CGI thing that made everybody really uncomfortable because it was horrible. You know what I mean?
2021 thing.
I think it was 2019 or 2020.
There was one that I heard in searching for a way to watch this movie at work, which I watched it on Internet Archive, by the way, which is the exact same way I watched Spaceballs. Thank you, Internet Archive. I will donate, I swear. Please don't come kill me, or...
I've donated. They have some great books there, too.
Don't live in my walls, Internet Archive. Fuck, I forgot where I was going with this.
Should we talk a little bit about the costumes? I think these were a great way, particularly like because they zoom in a lot on Gus's face during his song, where you can see that they, with the wigs, then followed the coloration of the wigs into their faces, which genius. And having not really ears, their wigs are tipped up as if they were ears, but they're not ears.
Tufts of hair.
It's just such a cool, like, stylization. And the way their leotards would be when they were like a striped cat, you could almost see it was like cross-hatching. It almost looked like a marker was cross-hatched over it. They did something really cool when they're trying to portray cats. They made it their own kind of style. And so whoever is responsible for that, kudos, that was great. I do kind of wish their tails had a wire or something in it, though.
Oh, kind of like Barf.
Yeah. Or just something where they're just sort of held up a little bit instead of just flopping back.
There was one character, and I can't remember who.
Duh.
But there was one character who used his tail as a prop. I don't know if he did like air guitar on his tail. What did he do?
Tum Tiger?
Was it? Yeah, it was probably Rum Tum Tiger.
Got me.
I think he grabs it and sort of swings it around.
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of like an old-timey pimp.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You'd be so surprised what he looks like outside of that makeup, by the way. It's very different than you would think. I was surprised anyhow. But yeah, I really admire whoever came up. But then when they have like old Deuteronomy, and because he's like older, and you know, when cats get older, they get a little shaggy because they can't clean themselves as well. So for the shaggier coats, they were sometimes had, particularly old Deuteronomy, and I believe Grisabella might have some of that too, where it had that thick roving yarn that kind of came off of it. And then having Grisabella have the one shoe.
I didn't realize the one shoe.
Yeah.
Can I gush about that character for a minute? I could smell him, number one. And this is not a bad thing. He looked matted a little bit, right?
Yeah, for sure.
He looked like he got wet.
I mean, Grisabella looks matted. I think he looks more like that kind of thing where they start to get kind of scruffy.
Who's scruffy looking?
He almost looked like oily.
Yeah.
First of all, that actor, if every single song was sung by him, I would have been over the damn moon. He had the most beautiful voice of any of the cats, in my humble opinion. Man, I really like that guy.
I don't know if that style is appropriate for having him sing Rum Tum Tugger's song would be terrible. You know what I mean?
I will let him have the chance.
Okay.
He was beautiful. I loved him. The actor. Loved the character too. But God, his performances were just, And also, his costume looked stinky. He looked like Smelly Cat.
So our cat Joey and Bean, they got pretty old. Joey was 17, Bean was 19. And like when cats get that old, depending for Joey, it was because he had at one point been 19 pounds, so he just did not have the flexibility or whatever. When they stop grooming, they have that kind of shaggy coat, you know what I mean? Like their fur starts to sort of...
It looks stringy.
pieced together, kind of, instead of being like a mass, I guess, or like fluff.
Yeah, these costumes, they did not need CGI adaptations. They are perfect on their own. They are perfect on their own. And that is what is iconic about this whole production.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's cool because they were able to create such a wide range of cats by giving them different accessories or different things that like just showed more of their personality and what they were like, or just having like variation within the way cats have variation, you know. And so each cat, for the most part, obviously there's twins, so like they're going to look a lot like, you know what I mean? Each cat is very individual in their costumes as well, which I appreciate. I just love costumes.
One weird question about the twins. Were they both one candidate?
I was wondering that too, actually.
I guess.
They both go to Heaviside Lair?
That reminds me of, for some reason, somebody was reviewing the show Daisy of Love. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but it was a reality dating show many years ago. And on the show, there was this set of triplets from, I don't know, somewhere Northern European. I want to say Sweden, but I feel like that maybe is not correct. And she was like, well, what if I just start to like one of you? And they're like, well, you will have all of us, right?
Then you're just going to like one of us the best.
But they were like, no, we're like a package deal. You will date all of us if you date us.
Huh.
Or there's none of us.
Or none of us, yeah. We're doing terrible access, I feel like, for them, but that's fine.
None is good. None is good.
Yeah, well, no, they got kicked off like right away. Because she was like, I'm not into that, sorry. But anyhow, yeah, that is weird that they are together.
They're a package deal.
But they are another one where they're talking about themselves, right?
Yeah.
Yes, they were.
So, yeah. Huh.
And were they the ones that the opening sequence was a wanted poster and it said wanted for everything?
I don't remember that.
Or was that a different cat?
I don't remember either. Either them or McCavity.
Mm-hmm.
There was some cat that the opening sequence of their song was a camera pan onto a crumpled up wanted poster that was like wanted for everything. And I was like, oh, that's cute.
That's probably McCavity. And speaking of McCavity, in his song, one says I can mention Mungo Jerry, and the other says I can mention Griddlebone, but they're both just underlings of McCavity, apparently.
Yeah, there's some that they like come up behind on the, I don't know which stage direction things are, but for us on the right in the front, there's like 3 of them that come up behind some of the cats trying to like flee.
Y'all, did Andrew Lloyd Webber or T.S. Eliot or whoever, are they like cat whisperers and they just know some shit that we don't? Because here's the thing. I had a really tough time because I'm trying to put a layer of realism on this like a dumbass. And I was expecting this to be like cat humor, like Can I Has Cheeseburger type humor. So I'm like, all right, these are cats that are in an alley. It's obviously filled with trash. And we all know that they all get together and they all act like they're having a good time for a while until one motherfucker shows up and then the whole party is ruined. And I was trying to equate it to real cat behavior.
I get the feeling that T.S. Eliot probably was a fan of cats, right? And was just sort of, oh yeah, in fact, I'm sorry, I went onto the Wikipedia page and it said like about feline psychology and sociology. So that was what his poems were intended to be about, what he witnessed with cats, essentially.
It was his Can I Has Cheeseburger poems.
I guess. The thing is, a lot of them are, I don't know about the content of them because I've not read any of them, but the names are almost the same as some of the names in the musical. So the naming of cats, the Old Gumby Cat, Growl Tiger's Last Stand, the Rum Tum Tugger, the Song of the Jellicles, Mungo Jerry and Rumpelteazer, Old Deuteronomy, the Awful Battle of the Peaks and Pollicles, Mr. Mistopheles, McCavity, Gus the Theater Cat, Bustifer Jones, the Cat About Town, Skimbleshanks, the Railway Cat,
Killing me.
the Ad Dressing of Cat. Those are all the names of his poems. And those are almost all of them names of the songs in Cats. So I think this is a pretty good adaptation of things that are just poems.
Oh, I thought you were going to say like cat shit.
Well, that too. So I think the poems are based on just like cat shit, like observing cats, you know? And then the musical is taking those sort of observations and turning it into a musical, basically. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the names are a tremendous challenge for me.
Sure fooled me.
I didn't understand them, which automatically made me hate them. And even when I did, you guys have seamlessly said the names of these cats over and over. And every time y'all do, I'm like, ugh. Like I take psychic damage every single time you guys say a name of one of these fucking cats.
The naming of cat song kind of talks about that.
Why?
A cat has 3 names.
So there are names that we name cats, is what they say. And then they have names that are their actual names. And that is what it's saying is these names. That's why they're kind of weird and nonsense, is the idea that this is what a cat calls themselves and each other. They're silly and weird because they're made up by cats, is the idea.
I am not a dog person. I am a cat person, but I have had dogs for a much, like exponentially longer period in my life than I have had cats. I have literally only had one cat that is mine, truly mine, that I named.
Yeah.
And so when I think about it, to me, the naming convention only made sense if I thought about this. Dog names are like Zeus, Orion, what the hell else? Bailey, what's another dog name? Marley all the time.
Bot.
Ginger.
Oreo.
Yeah, they're names that make sense. They're words. They're human words. But
Yeah.
people really do be out here naming their cat shit like McGrumblefuck. And yeah, and out.
That's not what this is, though. Cats have given names.
Yeah.
They have their names. Their given names are normal.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well,
their
I'm talking
names, their Jellicle names, is what we have in the show.
Oh, no. I'm talking about like real human beings are naming their cats like Mr. Scrimbleshaw and Mr. McDoofy-Floof. Why is that? Am I the only one that thinks that?
Mr. McDooflessloof will still have a different Jellicle name.
I think the reason that people give weird names to their animals is because they're animals and they don't know. So they can name them whatever fucking shit they want. You know what I mean? So I worked in a pet store and I was a dog trainer. So I've heard a lot of names for pets. And I knew somebody who made a joke and then they were like, wow, that actually would be terrible in real life, where they wanted to name their dog Grandpa so that when they were at the park, they'd be yelling, Grandpa, Grandpa.
Grandpa, where are you?
Folks are dumb.
Yeah, it was so stupid, but I don't know. It still makes me laugh. Stupid shit makes me laugh sometimes. But yeah, there was all kinds of weird names, and some of them were normal, and some of them were common, and some of them were like, yeah, weird, or Cooper was a big one. But one of my favorites was a guy was getting a tag done, so they had to have us do the tags, and his cat's name was Bill Furry, but like spelled like Murray, so... So it was a pun.
Yeah, okay, right. Dog people don't name their dogs that.
Hold on. There was a dog named Soup. So, which I loved. I loved it so much. I love Soup.
Soup was an outlier and should not be counted.
I loved. It's the best name for a dog. I love naming animals foods. That's like my deal. I've tried to convince Billy that if we get a dog, we're going to name it Couscous.
Dog, okay, that seems like a cat name, but okay.
Oh, and we name all our hamsters after candy.
I was doing a musical convention there for a while, but before that, when I had dogs, I was doing like a, not deity, but, and I don't even say religious either.
Pantheon.
I had a dog named Anubis. I had a dog named Buddha. I had a dog named Princess. I had a dog named Buttercup. These are all words, right?
Yeah.
Like these are all whole ass words. I actually did have a dog that I named Kitty. It was a Papillon. And
Cruel.
Oh, the irony.
Gruel?
Cruel.
I named her after Captain Catherine Janeway.
Okay.
So her name was Kitty for Catherine, whatever. Still stupid, but still a word, right?
Yeah.
But people with cats, they're like, oh, his name is... First of all, it's always Mr. something. This is Mr. Bumblefuck.
One of my favorite TikTok cats, Surfer. But it sounds like she says surfer sometimes.
Yeah, I hate it.
I love it. Besides the fact that he's the cutest cat in the whole world. Except for Simon.
My cat is named after a musician from Brownsville, Texas.
Our last two cats, we kept the names they came with. Well, okay, so for Bean, we call her Bean still, but that was just a nickname. Her name was Mo when we got her. But when we told people that, they always thought she was a boy. So we were like, well, how do we make the name Mo sound feminine? So we called her Mosephine, like Josephine, you know. And then Simon came to us named Simon, although it turned out his name was actually Stanley. So when we asked for him, they were like, who's Simon? And we were like, the little orange cat. And they were like, oh, his name's Stanley. They told you the wrong name. And I was like, I don't care. He's Simon. Looking at him, that's his name. His name is Simon.
Yeah, you feel it in your heart like a fucking bolt of lightning.
Yeah.
You look at them and you're like, that's Joplin.
Well, and that's why when we got to the nickname Bean, like, that's all I called her. Because I was like, no, her name's more like Bean.
Yeah.
That seems more right.
This movie is difficult for me to talk about.
I think in general it's kind of difficult to talk about because, like I said, for the narrative structure is really loose. So, yeah, that makes things a little bit more difficult. And it's also like, what's the purpose? Like, are they trying to say anything? Because I don't think this is actually trying to say anything at all.
It's not. And it's a nightmare. Because I need...
It's mostly just fun songs.
Yeah.
It is fun songs, but I need to be told what to think.
What?
I need to be told... You're laughing. I need to be told what to think 24/7. And this movie did not tell me what to think at all. It didn't hold my hand. It didn't even hold my pinky finger. It was just like, hey, we're cats and we're out here doing this shit, like it or not.
I think that its sole purpose is just to kind of entertain cat people. I really think that's it.
Y'all, oh my God.
Yeah?
I just reached an epiphany.
Okay. What is it?
Okay, so we've got dogs, which are sort of derisively spoken about in this movie, right? Think about it. Dogs. They do what you want them to do. They are very black and white, right?
Cats are all over the place. Do whatever they want.
You cannot tell them to do shit. Even the little shit-ass twin cats said something in their song to the effect of, oh, you found out that it was me destroying your whole entire apartment? Good fucking luck. You can't do anything about it. Cats are so autonomous.
I feel like Simon must be an outlier because that's just not true about him.
Simon is an outlier. Girl, you put that dude in costumes that he wore so happily.
Yeah.
You put that man in a sailor hat.
Yeah. Oh, he hated the hat, though. We only got a couple pictures with the hat because he wouldn't let us keep it on. But yeah, he'd wear like sweaters and stuff. He didn't care. He wore bow ties every day of his life.
He had the soul of the dog. He was like, I am here to please.
I taught him tricks too. Like I could get him to sit and lay down and I would say kiss and he'd bonk his like mouth against my nose. I could get him to do like little tricks and stuff. Yeah.
Definitely an outlier.
Yeah.
My cat, I taught her how to shake. That's it. And honestly, it's a thing that cats would do anyways, because they do. They lift their paw and they smack at shit. It's a natural behavior.
That's one thing I couldn't get Simon to do because he did not like it when people touched the bottom, like his paw pads. He hated it if you touched his paw pads. Like even just laying down, if you went to touch them, he'd be like, no, thank you, and pull his like arm away. Yeah, I couldn't get him to do it because he hated it.
I taught Joplin how to sit and I taught her how to shake, and that was it. And like my dad came over and I was like, because he's very much a dog person and he hates cats. He's one of those people that fucking hates cats. Like they're just compelled to hate cats. Like they think that's what you're supposed to do.
It's people like that who I think they themselves are gregarious and so they like don't get it. They're like, no, I love being around people. Why doesn't this animal want to be around other people?
Exactly. And is that where this movie is going? This movie is like, please just let us do our shit. Please just let us do our shit and move right along. You can appreciate it if you want to, just like you would if you were a cat owner. I can appreciate my cat, you know, having the zoomies and running around, but I cannot control her. I cannot make her make sense.
I mean, I don't think that, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think that there's like a lot of thought into theming and
There's not. I'm reaching.
saying anything, in this. And that doesn't mean it has no value. I think when people say that, they sort of imply that this thing does not have value. Sometimes things can just be fun and silly for a little while, and that's okay. Everything does not have to be a great piece of art. Great pieces of art should be something people strive for, but it doesn't have to be everything,
Well, here's the thing, too, is this is a great piece of art. It has good music, in my opinion. I'm sure some people think it has great music. The Mr. Mistopheles song is an earworm.
Yeah, for sure.
It has fucking phenomenal makeup and costuming. That's what it's here for, right? That's why we're all here.
Great dancing.
Meh, I don't care.
Some people are not into that kind of dance, but I'm saying it is skilled.
A lot of crotch. So much crotch, y'all.
An ass. You're really seeing people's ass, like full
So much
ass.
abs.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, and it was weird because this movie is not horny at all.
Except for Rum Tum Tuggers.
It's kind of, a little bit.
That's
But
a pretty horny number.
actually, it's not horny enough to show up on my register. So,
He's shaking his butt in the girl cat's face, and
Yeah.
while they're looking at his front.
Yes.
To the side.
And he like humps the air, basically.
he humps the air in the direction of their faces. He's like, yeah.
Yeah.
And then his ass back at the, like he's swinging his hips around. It's a whole thing.
It's a whole entire thing.
Yeah. He's the horny cat.
Tomcat.
Girl.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of that, I mentioned earlier, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend has like an ongoing joke about how much Rebecca loves musicals but hates cats. There is a specific episode that skewers cats a little bit, and all the cats are representing her vagina in various stages because things are happening throughout the episode with her vagina. Sounds insane. So first, she hasn't had sex in a while. So one of the cats does a Cats musical implying that it's her vagina and hasn't gotten laid in a while, right?
Okay, yeah.
And then she is working out a bunch. She has this spin class and she's wearing really cheap Lycra pants, and she ends up giving herself a yeast infection. So then there's the itchy cat that sings a song about how itchy it is. And then at some point she treats it, but she like over treats it. So she gives herself bacterial vaginosis. It's like a whole thing. So there's like different cats doing different things. And it's very funny. Like I said, that's like my favorite show. Or I think it's above The Office, if I'm being honest. Yeah, that episode in particular, that was very, very funny. The cat stuff.
I'm sorry, I'm dying.
A buttload of cats. A buttload of cats.
If I found that busted old geriatric trash cat, I would be like, come home. Come home and let's do some Twilight years together. And yeah, you know what? I might not get to know you. You might not get to know me, but you're going to be okay, fool. I would never let her commit ritual suicide.
Yeah, but like we said, there are times where we do assist cats.
See, I didn't get that though, because that takes human interaction, right? Like it takes human intervention. Like it's a human judgment. It is a gift. Absolutely. I've had to do it to 2 dogs.
Yeah.
It's definitely a gift, but it is bestowed specifically by humans, and humans are largely absent from this movie. Play, whatever.
Kind of. There's a part in the beginning where I think the intention a couple times are that the cats are caterwauling outside together and someone throws a shoe and a giant shoe lands on the stage. So in this world, the humans exist. Yeah.
They're singing, so literally the shoe dropped.
They exist, but they're not really they are very, very passively referenced. Okay, so the big tuxedo cat, he references a person. Right? Rum Tum Tugger. He implies a person. Heavily implies
An
a
indoor
person.
cat who wants to be out.
Yeah, he hates when you're in the bathroom taking a shit, he wants you to open the door. And when you let him in, he's like, no, this isn't right. Wrong answer. Let me back out again. So I feel like humans are really implicit in this. With the twins, too, I feel like they implied human interaction. Nobody is out here like, God damn, I love my human. I could never survive without my human. These are all outside cats.
Okay, but what if old Deuteronomy is just a vet office cat?
No vet would ever allow that.
That's true. But maybe in the 80s they would.
Maybe in the 80s they would, but god damn it, I would not take my cat to a vet where the cat looks like he stink.
Our vet, now that we've moved, they have like a cat that just hangs out in the office. He's very sweet and very cute.
Yeah, but does he look...
He does not look stinky.
Okay, I was going to say, cats don't age. They age longer than dogs.
They look scrunkly.
They really start to look like some Pet Cemetery bullshit when they get older.
They look scrunkly. Scrunkly is the perfect adjective for it.
Sometimes dead is better.
I want to look scrunkly when I get real old. People will be like, God damn, is that a zombie? It's just me. I'm out here living my best life.
I love scrunkly cats. I've made that joke before about us getting another pet, and I'm like, my favorite pets are just like weird little guys. I just want a weird little guy in my house.
Went to PetSmart.
Not a sponsor yet.
This was in Arlington, Texas, and there was a kitten there, and I did already have 3 cats. If I didn't, I would have adopted this son of a bitch right away. It was a kitten, maybe like 9 weeks old, and he looked like a werewolf. Like, he was gray and black, and he was kind of long hair and kind of short hair. He looked like a dog. It was weird. And I wanted him so bad. Now I'll never know what could have been.
Oh, there's a cat that I actually follow. I can't remember their name on TikTok that looks like that. It like kind of looks like a wolf.
Yeah, he was dog cat.
Not to be confused with cat dog.
The cat ass and the dog head.
Chupacabra, that's his name.
El Coyote. That's what I would have named that cat.
All right. I think we have petered off talking about cats. Does anyone have anything they want to address right now?
Nay.
I will say, this is this, that is that, and that is how you address a cat.
Indeed.
Good closing remark. So let's do our Yestalgia or nostalgia.
No, I can't handle it. No more. Please, no more. God, please, no more. I don't hate it. Oh, sorry. I'm going first.
Girl, you just started in. You just started going. I was like, okay. All right, sorry. Go ahead. Continue your thought.
This was rough.
So is that a nostalgia for you?
Flat nostalgia.
Okay.
Flat rate nostalgia.
I think this is a Yestalgia. I'm going to say soft only because I am quite aware that this is not everyone's cup of tea. Do you know what I mean? I am obsessed with cats, but it is crazy nonsense is the thing. So if you can't handle that, if you just really don't like that kind of thing, then you probably won't like it. But in a general sense, it's like silly and fun, and it's about, you know, one of my favorite animals. So there you go.
Fine.
Okay. For me, this movie was very well liked by me as a child. It has kind of heavy nostalgic feelings. And also, the music is very good. And I actually kind of like it even more now. I understand certain things more than I did when I was a kid. So for me, it is a strong nostalgia.
It marinated for you. And maybe it'll marinate for me too.
Normally here we would do our nostalgia, but we have decided, because we are putting full episodes out every other week, that in the kind of weeks that are not our full episodes, we would be moving our nostalgia to that. So we can talk about it a little bit more in depth and give you some content regularly. So that's been Yestalgia. Thank you for joining us. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
And don't forget,
I love you.
a cat is not a dog.
Damn.
It's not a dog.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.